any disagreement on that? Is he more a central player or a wide player?
I'm still of the opinion that he can be whatever he wants at this point. Like,
Right.
it's still
Don't cop out.
What could he want, nigga? God damn. This Kofi
No,
just lying
not
to
on-
me. Ladies and gentlemen, Happy New Year and welcome back to the Shirtless Plantain Show, the Arsenal edition. Whew. I'm here, per usual, with Coach. Coach, how you doing? Happy
I'm
New Year.
here at home.
How come you didn't make it to the game today, man?
That's a good question. Gabby, how are you?
That nigga is married.
Oh my god. We have a drunk individual. We have a whipped individual. I'm just hearing it.
New Year's Day. It's New Year's Day. We're just trying to get like you, Gabby, trying to be happy celebrators like Arsenal fans are today after an away win at the G-Tech. 1-3 to the Arsenal. Come from behind victory. But per usual, before we get into the nitty-gritty, we always start with the lineup because we lack imagination, even in 2025. So lineup, here we go. David Raya, his first appearance at Brentford since he joined Arsenal. So kind of seemed like
he played a part definitely today, I think.
yeah, he seemed a little nervous about that at the beginning, but we'll get into that. Then we had Urian Timber, Saliba, Gabriel. Calafiori was back from the start. I thought he'd get minutes in the game, but not start. Odegaard, number 5, Marino with the start, Gabriel Martinelli, Gabby Jesus, and everyone's favorite selection today, if you disagree with me, shut up, Ethan Nwaneri on the right wing, essentially replacing Saka like for like. That's kind of what it looked like at certain points today. But we're about to get into it. Kai Havertz wasn't on the bench even today. Gabby, how nervous were you before you got the additional information that helped clear things?
You do not want to see the messages that were sent to my group chat. I was like, I'm not on the bench. I won't be there. I won't be there. And I was told, listen, if we fuck it up today, it won't be blamed on him, so it's fine. But we didn't fuck it up today, so that's okay.
Coach, Gabby was clearly nervous about this. I was very nervous because I thought to myself, maybe he got injured in the minimal training that they're doing, and we don't have this motherfucker available. And this is technically Kai's fixture because he scored against them, Brentford, home and away last season. You know, I think it was the first goal away where we kind of decided, okay,
fucking back post.
Maybe we crossed the back post for one, and two, maybe this is gonna work because up to that point it was looking shaky. That Brentford goal was really the turning point, not the freebie penalty. I don't think. But I was especially nervous because Brentford are the biggest team in the league besides us, I think. And this is kind of game where you think playing over their press would be very useful, and we don't have the guy that really helps us play over their press. So I was extremely nervous and nervous for the future games. Was I doing too much with that, Coach?
No, I think everyone was worried, and I think it was well placed only because you got an idiot leaking team health 4 hours before kickoff. Like, these small margins in every aspect matter so much. Like, it can just give a team an extra 5-10%. Oh, yeah, they look a little bit, let's run a little bit more and test them kind of thing. And you never, like, stuff like that annoys me. So yeah, I was nervous because I'm thinking, shit, are we actually healthy or not? And then now Brentford at home winning 7 of 9, literally only Liverpool can match them this season at home. Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous, but at the same time, I'm thinking they've got some real cannons up front. They're probably going to want to play a little bit as well. Let's see how it goes, kind of thing. That was my thinking. So
fair enough. Yeah, I had an initial pang of panic, but then I thought to myself, if I think this team can win without Bukayo Saka, surely they can win without Kai Havertz. I don't really care what the game state is like in a particular game. We can do this. The game started, and my faith immediately kind of dissipated because, as we said before we got on this call, Gabby, it felt like we had a case of the Fulhams.
Oh my days. We started like shit. I can't lie. I felt very hungover. We were doing a lot of possession dominance, but not actually doing anything with the ball. I don't think we had a shot in that first 20 minutes at all.
No, we did. There just wasn't anything significant. Yeah.
It was rough. But yeah.
Why do you think that was?
I'll be honest
I
with you.
think that
No,
no,
go.
go. I think the game plan was, well, the game plan is always to have Kai in there, but I think the game plan was to have both Kai and Jesus in there, and you need the big body that Kai is. People forget he's a 6'4" lanky German. And I felt at least that Jesus got a little bit bullied by the Sunny Backs, at least in the first half as a whole, but like before the goal, we were lumping it long a lot.
Right.
We were lumping along a lot, and you need to lump it long to somebody who can get the ball, win the aerial duel, and Jesus is not going to do that for you. We just look very like a makeshift lineup, which we were.
That's yeah, essentially, yeah, that was a makeshift lineup. That there's an argument for that, but I was very confident with it once I got over the Kai fear thing. But Gabby mentioned a really important point. I think part of the reason why those first 20 minutes were kind of whack, coach, was because we kept, I guess, playing over their press, but to nobody. Everybody up front was 5'0". What the fuck was going on, coach?
I think Jesus's aerial prowess is quite underrated, and his actual physical dueling, because of how out of sorts he's looked of late, people have forgotten just how much of a pest and how physically dominant he can be. He's got it back. This is a guy that would super regularly trouble Van Dijk every time they came up against City. Like, he was the anti-Van Dijk, if you like. So physically, the issue wasn't there. I think it was the commitment to the actual, we're going to play long, who's running off Jesus. So literally, they pick up a lot of second balls because nobody else is committed, kind of thing. So the idea was right, and playing it to Jesus, who's by far our best player in that area, while Havertz not there. It was just the commitment and the buy-in from everybody else, I feel like, was the main issue. People were chasing down a lot more lost causes. We got them facing their own goal and having to work harder to essentially come back at us, kind of thing. Then that first 20 minutes, even though I wasn't unimpressed by it. It could have been better, but that first 20 minutes definitely looks a lot better if we commit more to it, I think.
Let's go on a bit of a detour. I kind of felt that, okay, surely there's so much detail in the preparation for the games that Raya isn't just kicking this because he's nervous that he's back at a stadium that he hasn't played at for a season or whatever. So if this is Arteta's plan, and even though Gabby Jesus isn't the biggest guy, he's 5'9", he can be, when he's fit, which he seems to be now, he can be physical. Brentford are still the biggest team in the Premier League. So my thinking was that if Raya's going to kick the ball up, Gabby, why not kick it to Merino? Like, that guy's actually pretty good in the air. Why wasn't that happening?
I was thinking the same thing. I was wondering why he didn't push further up. I was like, maybe it's because, well, we all know about Brentford's transitional threat. Like, they're one of the best in the league next to Liverpool, in my opinion, especially at home. And I was thinking that maybe he doesn't want him to push that far up because he won't be able to make it back to cover. But it did not look nice to watch.
Coach, any thoughts on that? Because again, if I'm not going to say that's his best skill, but one of the reasons why we were happy to have him was that he was a dual monster. Led Europe in aerial duels last season. Yeah, I think we're kicking it to him. We're kicking it to someone shorter than him.
I think part of it was kind of goes to the point I was making earlier about the buy-in from the players. Like, it was almost like they probably weren't buying into it because they were relying on Merino to help clean up in the on the second balls. But that wasn't happening either. So it's like, you almost kind of pick your poison. Do you kick it long to Merino and hope that one of our midgets can make something on the second ball, kind of thing, or do you kick it long to Jesus and hope that anything that kind of bounces in and around the area, Merino can hoover up, kind of thing? And neither of those things happened. That's why it just looked the way it looked, I think. So she's snorting has just thrown me.
My bad. It's a new year, man. I got new sound effects. My bad. I warned you about that. That was inadvertent, by the way. Carry on. Gabby, you did mention in your last response that Brentford are one of the best transitional teams in the league. And they had a couple different moments in that first half where they looked like they were going to break through. For the most part, Arsenal did stop them. But 13 minutes in, Brandon Buemo squared up to Ricardo Calacuta.
Mhm.
And
Not another one.
by my math, Big Gabby did not get close enough to deter him from even cutting in at all. Because I feel like Gabby was marking space.
Mhm.
Long story short, Mbeumo shoots the near post, embarrasses his old teammate David Raya, 1-0 to Brentford. This Fulham shit again. Why do we
Listen.
keep doing this? I know you don't have the exact answer.
You know what I'm gonna
ask you anyway.
say. One shot, one goal. One thing about us, we're gonna concede that every time. It's actually funny that you said that about Gabriel, because I did not blame him for this goal at all. I thought a lot of things went wrong in this goal, a lot. But Gabriel wasn't one of them for me.
Well, can we talk about the first thing that went wrong?
Yeah, the first thing the first thing that went wrong. Odegaard, he was off today, at least until the second half. But that first half, he was sloppy, very, very sloppy, and it showed in that we, of course, when we're sloppy, like, we always get the harshest punishment, always. And that goal was just that. It, like, he tries to pass it, and the pass is not weighed correctly, and it gets picked off. I think Five doesn't pressure the person on the ball. He gives him time and space to run into and also pass to Mbeumo. Mbeumo, I knew this was going to happen. I was like, he's going to cut inside. He's going to cut inside. Just push him to the outside. If he gets past you and crosses, fair enough. But you letting him cut inside to shoot the ball, I said, Calafiori, why are you this way? Like, why are you this way? And also, David Raya. He takes a few steps too far in towards the goal and, like, leaves his near post open. And I know everybody's always like, a goalkeeper should never let anybody score on his near post. Fair enough, it was a good finish. Whatever. But a calamity of errors, as per usual.
Coach, where do you assign blame on this goal?
Really and truly, it's just on our captain. Like, we're talking about his weight of pass over and over again. It just stops at the source there, innit? If you play it simple there and don't try to force it, then before you don't concede there, or if you actually, put your foot through the ball a bit more, and if it goes a bit longer and the player doesn't get to play, then at least then they're facing their own goal. But it incepts it in the most convenient way they can just run at us, kind of thing. And let's be frank here, Damsgaard is quite literally one of the best midfielders in the league. Like, he's outstanding.
Not with that hairline, nigga.
but we're just talking about, like, in terms of decision making and transitional threat kind of thing, shit like that. Just even the way he positions himself and shit like that, it's problems kind of thing, and it's almost like a perfect marriage for what's in front of him with Mbeumo and Whistle, with all that movement kind of thing. So yeah, I think Raya should be doing a lot better. I do think Calafiori clearly I think basically we know that we can kind of know who's starting the next game based on who's starting, especially in this busy period. MLS is starting on Saturday for sure. And he just like, I have to get Calafiori some game time here because I don't want to overplay MLS right now, kind of thing. And he literally looks like he's missed a bunch of games. That's what Calafiori looked like today. Technically, he's still clean. We know Calafiori's a good player, but he just looked out of sorts. He looked out of sync with the rest of the defense. The rest of the defense looked like they've been playing each other for 100 games at this point. And, two of them have obviously clearly, but he just looked like, oh, I've just kind of walked in off here, like they subbed me on, like rolling subs, like I'm trying to get warm.
Right.
I mean, speaking of that, like, he looks like he missed a bunch of games, but this is only the second time this season that the starting left-hand side is starting today. Like,
yeah, I know, and that's the literal point I'm making. It's more of like tongue in cheek. Of course, he's missed a bunch of games. Like, that's quite literally what he looks like. But yeah, I understand it.
I understand it now.
he needs games, and I feel like it was a good test going up against literally one of the best attackers in the league. Even though he kind of failed, if you like, but yeah, it doesn't get much harder than in Bremen, even though there was clearly a much bigger test in the league than that. But it is what it is. I can't really blame too much. Raya, yeah, maybe cover your near post a little bit better, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm not gonna let y'all get away with not shitting on Gabriel, so I'll do it myself. I just really felt like that was an instance of not being proactive. Like, in that situation, I want two players on the guy with the ball. You can't just leave your fullback on an island. Like, do you expect your fullback to be able to lock someone up in that situation? Absolutely. Like, that's the standard. Like, I'd expect that. But as a defender, you have to think of the most imminent threat. Gabriel was planning for a threat that was yet to occur, which is basically someone running into this space. When Mbeumo was bearing down on this man, and any defender would be in trouble in that situation, And it's not as if he didn't even really cook him there. He just kind of shot it through him and it deflected off him as well. So he really could have gotten the block there. But I just felt like if Gabriel was 2 steps closer to Calafiori, Mbeumo doesn't even have the confidence to cut in. But that's neither here nor there.
We started in 2025 with slander for Gabriel is crazy.
You mean to go on?
I will not let this.
Hey man, he getting a little bit of hype. He was in a bunch of teams at the end of the year. We need to bring him back down to earth. Listen. We remember when you got a hair transplant, nigga. We know who you are. Okay,
Pepper's Farm remembers.
We remember your veneers, nigga. We remember when those were installed. You didn't come here like this. So we're gonna keep you humble. As the people at City say.
Yeah.
All right. Next talking point in this game was a big save from David Raya. He did some utterly ridiculous shit, Gabby. I think goalkeepers should be able to put their hands behind the ball that's coming at them. Who took that shot, by the way? It was a really good move from Brentford.
That's actually a very good point.
Was it Whistler?
Was Whistler or Damsgaard?
I thought it was Whistler too. But I actually don't know.
It wasn't a black person. I think it was Damsgaard. They got the two brothers up front, and there's a bunch of just mad White Walkers on that bitch, man. It's mad Vikings and shit, man. It's crazy team. But that was an elementary parry and safety, and I think worst case scenario, you bounce that down and catch it on the second hop or whatever. Or if you're gonna punch it, he did the entire worst thing he could have done besides just missing it entirely, and it almost went in. And to his credit, he made a pretty amazing save to stop it from going in. But Gabby, what do you attribute this? This is not our David Raya. This is Brentford's David Raya, not ours.
This was almost Ramsdale. That's what that was. Was that the way that I don't want to tell you what I did when I watched him do that. But
that's what the people are here for. Tell them, Gabby. They're not here to figure your secrets out.
My eyes were as big as saucers. Genuinely. I genuinely thought he was going to do exactly what you said, which is if it's that tough of a shot, or if that's has that powerful, then you bounce it down and then you go to catch it.
It was
or you parry it away. Potter.
Lewis Potter?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was just like, what did you just do? Genuinely, I couldn't even speak because my heart was in my mouth. I was just at least you saved it? Because my head would have been on Pluto. Genuinely, it would have been a complete meltdown. Because the one thing I say about this team, the bozo gene runs like wildfire. When it catches one person, it catches another one. And I was like, it happened with Odegaard first. Don't let it happen with you. I beg.
So if that goal had gone in, Gabby, do you think we would have had enough to still win the game today?
No. I think we could have drawn because Brentford had already this was us winning this game was a double loss for them. It lost 2 in a row now at home, I think. And they don't lose at home. They rarely lose at home.
Right.
And they always give us problems. I know this is the 3rd win in a row for us against Brentford, but each one of those games came with their own set of problems. Each one of those games were cagey, stressful, last-minute winners.
The only one outside of today that wasn't really stressful was the 3-0.
Yeah, Ethan's debut.
That was
2022?
Yeah, 2023 season. Yeah, that was as routine as it gets.
That was
that's
arguably
crazy.
Fabio Vieira's best game for the club, maybe.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, man. Every time we play, I was already worried about Brentford to begin with because this was not the game I wanted us to have to capitalize on the drop points from everyone else. But yeah, one thing I will say, Raya, you are as spry as a cat because the ability to watch that go behind you and sprint towards your own goal and claw it out of your own net. My days.
I'll be honest, I don't think that's anything to do with his ability or athleticism. That's just pure fear from Arteta. It's pure fear.
That's exactly. He saw his career go up in flames.
Yeah.
That was his Ramsdale versus Southampton moment.
Yep.
If you didn't say that shit. Because
Yeah.
they would have been calling fucking Joan Garcia and Espanol
Yep.
in January, like, yeah, we need a striker, but go on and come on now. Like, fuck all that. You know, like, we're getting rid of Raya. So I'm glad it all worked out in the end, because I'd be very, very sad. Sadder than I am right now. But in any event, immediately after that, Arsenal equalized because we went right back up the field. And I don't even know how you describe this goal because it was a bit messy. The setup, I don't even know what the first attack was anymore, but the ball pinballed a bunch.
Scrappy.
Yeah, Mbemo had a chance to clear it at one point, didn't do that. Eventually, it fell to number 5.
What do we call this? Sean Dyche? Utter woke nonsense.
There you go. Just clear that shit. It was utter nonsense. In any event, ball falls to number 5. He hits it at Flecken. Flecken makes an error there. Absolutely makes an error. He almost dives too far to punch the ball properly, and he leaves it in his box 18, his keeper's box, if you will. And Gabby Jesus follows up with a lovely diving header. I love diving header, coach, because that is African heritage. You know,
it's a lost art, man. And I'm a child of Alan Shearer pools, so it's always gonna you know.
I was thinking more Emmanuel Amunike, but you know,
I was going to say, you picked the white man. That's crazy.
Crazy,
Go
man.
on.
Like, we'll give you Arsene Wenger, but this Shearer thing, we're gonna need to check that at some point, okay?
I won't lie to you. Alan Shearer is the only white man my mum has ever sung about. So yeah, I blame her if anything. But the goal itself was it was an error from Mbeumo, but it's just more about Arsenal's commitment and confidence to. We didn't want to have another Fulham or Everton, basically, and I feel like a lot of that comes from the back. Both Gabriel and Saliba, I think this arguably could be the highest line we've played all season today.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I genuinely think so. There was a bit of a commitment there. Gabriel was playing, like, you know, passes down the side of the centre-back and a full-back, like, from 30 yards from their goal kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's how high he was. And once you're trying to play out from the back, and Arsenal have essentially put all of their players in your half kind of thing, there's a more chance of us getting the ball than they are kind of thing. And yeah, it was scrapping whatever else, but our counter press looked as good as it has done. Like, it was it's about momentum, and you know, this is what Everton done so well. They killed our momentum so damn well. So them not clearing the ball, okay, cool, is what it is. But us actually being in positions to win the ball in central areas, get shots off, and then get the rebounds over and over until we essentially force the ball in. I'd call it whatever you want. Good tactics, good preparation, whatever else kind of thing. That Arsenal fought for that goal and fully deserved that goal, regardless of whatever mistake Brentford made. That's all from the coach, that's all from the players as far as I'm concerned. Like, I was really, really pleased. I was really pleased. On top of that, it was the fact that it was Gabby Jesus that got it, and he was where he needs to be in the 6 yard.
That's what I was gonna say.
Like, in the 6 yard box, in between, like in the width of the goal, basically.
Cool.
Like that's where. I think I said on the instant reaction, but that's where he's going to score another 6 or 7 goals this season just by being there. Like, law of averages will stay. Like, look at Haaland, for example. Even though most Haaland goals look like that, but genuinely speaking, that's where they are. So yeah, please do all your fleet-footed shit wherever you can, but when it's time for business, be where you need to be. And I'm so glad it was him that got it. Genuinely, man.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. During the build-up to that goal, one of the main characters, if you will, or a supporting character to the person who eventually got the shot off, was Ethan Nwaneri. I remember him being in the mix. He didn't quite get it. Gabriel Martinelli at one point dove for a penalty. That was not a penalty, but whatever.
That gave me the ick, but go on.
Right. But Ethan was quite involved in that, and even though he didn't end up with end product in this game, I get the sense that a lot of us may think that this was maybe his best game for us yet. Like, he has maybe given us the belief that we can do this without our actual best player. Gabby, what did you make of his overall performance? What did you like? What did you not like?
What's not to like? What's not to like? I'll never give it Ethan slander ever, but he's my man of the match. Like, he was my man of the match, and it wasn't close. I know they gave it to Gabriel Jesus, fair enough. But I just felt like him and Jesus were the two players that wanted to get something done. Other than Martinelli in that second half, which we will get to. But they wanted to get something done. And we all know, we've watched enough of Ethan to know that he is very shot happy. Mm-hmm. He wants to get a shot off. And he didn't get many off today, if any, I don't think. but he was involved in, I think, all of our goals. Like, in some way, he was involved in all of our goals. He wants to get up and be in and around the box and actually get the shot away. I think he's the one who put the challenge in for Mbomo. And Mbomo tried to play out from his own box, and
No,
he
he was
put the challenge
he was
in.
on the other side.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll just have to
Fair
rewatch
enough.
the goal
Yeah.
and not tell the people what we actually saw. Because I hope you motherfuckers saw the game if you listen to this. Like, if this is the only way you consume Arsenal games, God bless you, but you should watch highlights at least, But
Oh man. Yeah, I just think he's genuinely like, I know it's maybe like recency bias or like a little happy to say like he might be our answer to the right wing solution. Like he's the answer. That's what I think. I think Arteta should just continue to play him there. Genuinely.
I will just add to that and say that one of the key things here for him playing on the right was going on the outside, and he's not going to come up against someone as small as Keane Lewis Potter every week. But I was very glad that he backed himself physically against him. But yeah, I think one of the key components for us and what's adding another dimension to our right hand side play is the fact that before he done his hammy, Saka was able to go on the outside whenever he wanted. And it just helped vary our attack and made things a lot harder for defenders to kind of predict what we're going to do. And if he can just do more of that, then yeah, play him there as much as we physically can, where it's not going to be too much of a burden on him, but also not to our own detriment. But yeah, I wouldn't say there isn't a solution to the right hand side. Unfortunately, there just isn't. It's Bukayo Saka. So, but we can definitely find ways to mitigate it with playing a left footer there, with playing a more direct right footer there, Martinelli and stuff like that. But from what I saw today, yeah, I think overall he was. If he wasn't our best attacker, at worst he was our second best attacker today. And yeah, I was just really pleased with the confidence he showed in deep areas as well, like combination play, ghosting past people. Deen has mentioned countless times about how much he wants our players to run with the ball more. You definitely have. You definitely have, especially when it comes to our captain as well. And yeah, he does it. Like he'll go past these man, and I think what I want to see more of that now is in and around the box, because those are penalties there to be won. Like there's penalties to be won there, man. So yeah.
Gabby, real quick. I mean, obviously it's very early in his career, but we've seen a good chunk of time with him. I mean, today he was on for probably 70 minutes, maybe more.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen him mostly play as an interior prior to today. I know today was we all agree that this was a fantastic performance. But where do you think, in your opinion, where does he look most comfortable? Where do you like him most between those two positions?
I still think he ends up on the interior. I think that's where he's more comfortable, playing inside. Like high touches, which technically in our team right now, he'll get a lot of high touches on the wing. But I think he likes playing in the Odegaard spot or as an 8 somewhere, an 8 and 10 somewhere in the middle.
Coach, any disagreement on that? Is he more a central player or a wide player?
I'm still of the opinion that he can be whatever he wants at this point. Like,
right?
It's still
cop out.
What could he want, nigga? God damn, this Kofi just lying to me.
Honestly speaking, I've been impressed. Literally, I've been impressed on the outside as I have been with him on the inside as well. Like, so it's very hard to say. Like, what I will say again, going back to what the manager wants is he wants guys that are able to do it all to like a 9 out of 10 level, basically, wherever he puts them. So what I would like to see him, I'd like to see him in the centre for sure, because of that shooting, that shooting cheat code that he's basically got for sure. But I'm not going to be mad seeing him on the outside, as long as he keeps performing that way, I'd say. So yeah.
Well said, my people. The rest of the half wasn't much to write home about. Arsenal, I wouldn't necessarily call it sterile domination, but Brentford got nothing and Arsenal got nothing, but Arsenal had the ball. And eventually it was halftime. And at halftime, Gabby, where was your mood? Did you think we were on the way to winning this, or did you think Brentford's home record would get a point for them at least?
I did not think we were on the way to winning this. But then I was like, you know what? Let me be a little bit more optimistic.
She's so pessimistic. Always
because
takes the
you know what
under.
it was? You know what it was? Because I was like, they're playing at home. They still have that transitional threat, and we are really bad at. I mean, we're really good at not conceding like large or big chances to teams, but we had the unlucky ability
That's
of conceding the
unlucky.
0.01 xG shot. So I was like, we need to make some subs. Like I was like, I'm already ready to make some subs. We need to get that transitional that locked down.
Okay, so you wanted. I know the sub you always want to make. You always want to get 5 out for Rice. That's what you dream of.
We needed to get Declan on. But I also thought I was thinking that maybe Arteta takes him Moreno off and puts on Declan. And I was like, I wouldn't hate that either. I thought, I hate to give him props, but I actually thought he played well today. Five played well today. Probably our best midfielder today. I know Moreno scored, but yeah, our best midfielder today.
Yeah, well,
and I was like, I didn't like the way that Martinelli looked in that first half necessarily. I was like, if it doesn't look better soon, then maybe get Trossard on. And then, the thing I hate about Arsenal right now is that even when we're crossing, not too long ago, I said we weren't crossing enough when Kai was in there. But now that we're crossing a lot, we're always crossing to no one, I feel like sometimes. Or we're crossing very high in the air that the goalkeeper gets it or they clear it out easily. And I just wanted somebody who did low and hard. Just like Trossard did it in the last game and Kai scored. Low and hard across the 6. Just because if it doesn't go in from us, it'll go in from an own goal or something.
Can I say that a lot of those chances to cross like that, it always depends on the actual. It's always situational. Like there was not a cheat, but there was a glitch on on a old pro game from years back, like Pro 4, when I think it was Henri on the front or Pierluigi Colina on the front, where he double tap cross 3 times, and no matter what, it hits the 6-yard line. If it's not one of your players, the goalkeeper's throwing it into his own box. It's a cheat. It's quite literally a cheat kind of thing, and I feel like those situations in games rarely come up enough for us to just flash across the goal like that as much as we want to. And usually when they do, it's because that's by far the best option. Now, I'm all for varying our approach kind of thing, but I just think at times it's almost like even if we were to do it, would that be the best choice? I don't actually know. For example, I think Timber's got a couple of assists by doing that, by flashing across the goal. I think Martinelli got a goal like that, and I think, was it Lisbon away that we did it as well? Sporting Lisbon away. I think Timber got a goal like that as well.
That feels like so long ago.
Yeah, I know. It feels like forever ago. Oh my gosh. But I feel like situationally, I would love if Arsenal can get into those positions more to do it. Then by all means, but teams are not giving us those chances as much as I'd like to. I'd love for us to be, because that was a typical Arsenal goal as well back in the day. Get it to as close a goal as possible and let's roll it across the goal and someone tap it in. But teams are playing with 20 defenders now, man. It's just so flipping hard, man.
Deep block, mid block. I mean, Ipswich were so resolute in their game against Arsenal.
They saved energy.
Yeah, they whooped Chelsea afterwards.
Yeah. Listen, you said clear that ball to the lap up there somewhere.
Should we attempt to beat this really good team, or should we just save our energy for the shit team that we're going to play at home after? That was good planning by Kieran McKenna. This is a good opportunity to talk about Mikel Merino and the left side in general, because today we actually got to see what we all sort of envisioned as our final form of the left side. Martinelli supported by Merino in the midfield and Calafiori in the defense. Calafiori, we touched on already. He was a little rusty, so maybe he didn't contribute as much as he could have to the situation. But Merino, even though that position is a low touch position by default, it's occurred to me that in this game and even in other games, Gabby, he tends to look his best when he goes to help overload on the right or when he's putting the ball in. That said, he did score the goal that calmed everything down right as the second half started. And it was a corner kick, so it was a set piece, which makes me very glad because I just love it. I don't care how much people try to make it a pejorative. I love that we're so good at something that people downplay.
Listen, not just good, great. There's a video going around of the G-Tech Stadium and how quiet it got before we got that corner that Merino scored. It's so funny. I can't lie.
That's great. But
honestly speaking, like away stadiums in the country, whenever Arsenal get a corner, it's always like you can actually hear the groans and like you can see people slumping back into their chairs and shit. It's hilarious to see, like, because I'm just like in my head, I'm thinking, all right, this is probably going in, like for sure, kind of thing. And people like got their head in their hands and shit. It's just like it's almost like a horror film.
I mean, was it a couple of weeks ago against United where the Spanish feed for the game?
Oh yeah, the Jaws
from Jaws. Right, yeah. So, yeah, I guess we are taking that horror movie magic to other people's stadiums. That said, Marino scored after a corner, well taken by Martinelli. Ball, I believe, rebounds to Gabby Jesus. He hits it first time, something that made Coach very happy. We'll get to that in a second. But Marino actually finished after the shot was blocked. Gabby, we've already kind of teased the Marino theme. What did you make of his overall performance? Because as we both agree, he mainly looks good when he goes over to the right. On the left, he's not offering much. We're not seeing that cross that we talked about a moment ago. So what are you making of him so far?
I think that he unfortunately is like a victim of I don't want to say no preseason, but still no chemistry with his teammates. I hate you so much. Gabriel slander will not stand.
She tried to kill him.
Oh my god! It was an accident.
Maybe that nigga's talent was in his shoulder, and Big Gabby didn't give a fuck. And now
listen,
9 points behind fucking Liverpool.
He trains like he means to go on. He trains like he plays for real.
For real.
Man, he needs to train like he's at the fucking hair transplant clinic. Just calm down a little bit, nigga.
I just think he is a victim of not having the chemistry with his teammates. Like him being in and out of the team, he just can't seem to find his footing, unfortunately. But he definitely drifts out to the right because he's so used to playing with Odegaard. Like that time in Sociedad playing with Odegaard, you drifting out to the right so Odegaard can free will to go wherever, that's working. That is definitely working. I thought it was, granted it was obviously a scrappy goal again, but right time, right place, kept it down because we have seen many a player kick it over from there, which makes me sick. Like
allergies.
Just keep it down, yeah. And put it into the back of the net. And I don't think he was bad today. I know a lot of people put on their narrative glasses when they watch Marino. He's not the midfielder that they want, so automatically he's bad. But he was just average. He was tidy with the ball. He linked up a little bit with his teammates. I think when he actually plays a few more games in a row with Martinelli, they'll start to link up a bit more because he did try to get in behind and do the overlap and like try to cross the ball in, but it just didn't come off.
Yeah, I definitely remember one from the first half. Coach, on that goal, when it went in, you texted the chat that you really loved the shot that Gabriel Jesus took. What was that about?
Just pure striking. Like we've been complaining for how many years about the striking pool in the world just being so poor and like nobody wants to score goals anymore. And it's like there's just who do you go out and like for years every summer I was like, okay, what striker am I? And there's always a good selection of 2-3 strikers available kind of thing. And now it's not. And you look at what those strikers were doing then, and Gabby Jesus has done 2 of those things today that have essentially led to goals, which is you're in between you're in the areas where where the ball needs to be, where you need to be for the ball to fall to you, and you don't even think about it. You get the ball on target, whichever which way you can. It's just the pure desire to score goals. Like we all know that there aren't many better footballers, if you like, up front than Gabby Jesus around. Like he's a fantastic footballer, like just really gifted kind of thing. But you can name plenty of players that are better strikers than him, And I just feel those things that he's doing. There was an interview, and I'm pretty sure you're the one that even linked me to it, that he did last year when he spoke about what Arteta wanted from him and what he wants from himself. He spoke about playing on the shoulder and wanting to be in the box more. I'm going to see if I can find it again, but I won't lie to you, since he's actually been fit, there was one game where he got caught offside like 5 or 6 times, but outside of that, since he's been fit, he's been doing the strikery things, like the genuine strikery things, and I just want to see more of that. Just be more of the striker. Like we know you got the you know, the cha-cha, and all that.
Jinky me jinky. That's the
Yeah, thank you, Jinky.
Jinky me jinky, but Samba remix is what Coach gave. He said,
Oh
boom,
man.
cha-cha. Okay, Jorginho. Gabby, 3 minutes passed, and we were 3-1 up. This time it was Martinelli with the goal. It was Ethan Cross that didn't get cleared properly, and he had the time to set himself, and he shot. Flecken didn't see it until it was in the net. How pleased were you for our short bus star boy? I apologize, people. But he hasn't quite hit the heights that we all foresaw for him a couple years ago. And whenever he scores these days, it makes me so happy. Like, it makes me happier. Like, with Saka, I expect it. With Havertz, you better fucking score. We're sending you back to Chelsea. With Trossard, it's like, what else are you here for if you're not scoring? You know, with Odegaard, I don't really expect that much anymore. With Martinelli, there's a lot of expectation, and there hasn't been enough production. We've had so many debates about this. So when he scores, it feels like a joyous moment for me. Do you concur with these sentiments, and what did you make of his overall performance in addition to the goal today?
So for overall performance, I already said it earlier that in the first half I was ready for Martinelli to come off. I just felt like he wasn't doing enough, and I felt like he was reverting back to the type of him just holding on to the ball, not running into the box necessarily, not shooting with conviction, not really linking up with his teammates as well as we know he can, especially with Jesus, because him and Jesus had this special link up, maybe Brazilian vision, I don't know. But
boom cha-cha.
After that, in that second half, Martinelli, he rose it for real. And if you've listened to this pod for a while, you know that I have my criticism of Martinelli. He's not a thinker. Okay. I'm not to say he's dumb, but he's not a thinker. When he starts to think, cut the cameras. Just put the goals in the bag, okay? He is an instinctual player, and that third goal was the best finish out of all three of the goals that we scored today.
Yeah.
And it was instinctual. Take a touch to settle yourself and place the ball into the net. And I wish he would do that more. And also, he was in the box, like not on the periphery, not on the wing, in the box. Come closer. So act like you want to actually score. And I think when he plays with, I think that's Mikel's vision, actually. When he plays with Calafiori and Marino, somebody else is on the wing. Somebody else is out there trying to get if you need to pass there. Martinelli, come closer. You are so much better when you are closer to the goal, when you play like a center forward, than when you play like a touchline winger, because you're not that.
Yeah, which begs the question, Coach. I know you were pleased because every time Martinelli fucking ties his shoelaces, you post that picture of him with Pele behind him and shit like, he's back. He tied his shoelaces, he's back, baby. You know. But now that we're in silly season, aka transfer window season, let's talk more Martinelli, but into the future. Like at one point, I remember it was a very common narrative in the fan base that he would end up in the middle as a central striker. Given where he is playing off the left and where we are as a club, what we're hoping to achieve, what we might be doing in the summer, because personally, I don't think anything big is going to happen. Something may happen, but nothing like big. Like something like
Articular.
Yeah, East will happen in January. Just people get over it. Do not be deluded about it. Like, there's no amount of money that will make sense to give these people for them to give that player up. It's just not happening. Get over it. That said, do you think that conversion needs to happen sooner rather than later? Do you think that's where he can really shine? Because out wide, I can't remember the last time he did anything that really impressed me besides just running in a straight line past someone that wasn't as quick as him. Which is not enough. But in the center, he gets you goals.
I'm going to be honest and say that I'm worried that for us to really make a huge signing, we're going to have to make a big sell, and he's probably the easiest one to sell. And that hurts me because I don't want us to sell him. Like, despite all the frustration, I just really don't want us to sell him. But if we're like, with how long he's got left in his contract, and because we're in silly, when we're just in a silly market right now, we're probably going to get a good 70-80 million for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just the way transfers worked today. Like that's, you look at some of these figures that have been touted for guys that have never scored more than 10 league goals kind of thing. Martinelli absolutely blows these guys out of the water with his numbers. So yeah, we can command that fee for him, no problem. But if we're not looking to sell him, then yeah, I think lessening his burden and making him look and probably be a better player by giving him less touches. Yeah, I think, let's make him another option as a centre forward for sure. And maybe just, use him as a rotational piece on the left rather than him being his actual position there, basically. And yeah, get a touchline winger, if you like, or maybe just someone that's way more comfortable, being doubled up on basically than Martinelli. So yeah.
Yeah, I still think we need I don't even think we need a touchline winger anymore now. With the way that Arteta wants to play, I think we need a wide forward. Someone like, we won't get him, but someone like Lewis-Skelly or someone like that who can link up really well and who can score goals.
Yeah, so he's a wide playmaker. That's where I still have reservations, because what's the point of having him and Saka? You
always need some more creativity. What do you mean?
I'm not mad at that. I know it's not necessarily the right balance of profiles, because you have a striker in the middle who's a bit false 90 because we like to vacate that space. We don't really play through the middle. We do our shit on the side, then we come into the middle. Yeah. But yeah, it's not
about him not being a good player, because he is fantastic. I'm just concerned from the point of view that the complaints Arsenal that a lot of Arsenal fans have, whether they're valid or not, I don't think they are, but just to say they are, about Arsenal just being all 4-player, no final this and final that kind of thing. You're going to get a lot more of that Kvaratskhelia. That's what we're going to get, because he's not a shoot first sort of guy. Like, yeah, he can shoot well with both feet, but he's always looking for the pass.
Well, I don't know. Maybe that's because the burden on him at Napoli, like there's more of a creative burden on him. Like in a different system, maybe he comes a little more greedy. Yeah, really, I actually agree with you. Like, I would like more of a striking profile, like just to throw a name out there. Someone like Aubameyang, who tracks back, would be perfect on the left.
Someone like Aubameyang who tracks back.
Like basically,
and control the football as well. That helps as well. So.
Like essentially, if we got Isak, I would want to play him off the left more often.
Yeah.
Don't close your eyes.
Like, if we got Isak, I would prefer to play him off the left initially before he took that middle spot. Because at the end of the day, we pay Kai Havertz a lot of money to be at the club, and we can't just waste the resource. And the manager clearly, I mean, he was at City when they did their Centurion shit. That Centurion team mostly played a false 9, or a 9, Aguero, who isn't quite a traditional 9, but was super prolific anyway. So for me, with that in mind, I wouldn't want a wide playmaker on the other side, since we already have a wide playmaker in Saka. But if it's that or nothing, bring Kvaratskhelia.
Yeah, for sure. Like if
bring Marmoush.
If Kvaratskhelia is available now, because we need someone else, bring him. Absolutely bring him. But if we're being picky, then Isak is the one. Isak, he quite literally is the one. Like, you have 2 striker profiles in your front line and a Bukayo Saka. Those are 3 nukes right there.
I can't wait.
You guys got to let go of this Isak stuff. We're not going to get him. Not even in the summer. I don't think I will make my prediction now. He will not leave Newcastle in the summer.
He is 1 gazillion% leaving Newcastle. He's not signing a new contract.
No.
If they don't sell him now, they're going to have to take 80 million for him next summer, which is way below what he's worth. Because he's going to have 2 years left in his contract next summer. So they better sell him this summer.
And that's fine.
Sell him this summer, in fact.
Well, if they sell him this summer, I'll tell you this much, guys. Like, it's not my money.
Yeah.
And I want to win as much as any other Arsenal fan.
Yeah.
But I'm not having the club pay 120, 150 million for Alexander Isak. I'm sorry.
We need other things. He's not worth that.
If you pay that kind of money for a player, they have to be available. His availability has never been good. He's a skinny dude. He's a little fragile. He's fantastic. I would love him at the club. But if that's the price, nah, that's got to be 80 or less.
We had too much work to do to spend that much money on Isak. It's not like he's the final thing that we need. We have so much things to do.
What other work do we do?
He might be, though. Like,
what do we need?
What else do we need? Because in my mind,
defense is
fine.
Midfielders. What do you mean?
We
need at least 1, if not 2 midfielders. We need 2 wingers, in my opinion, and we need a striker.
The midfield players that we need aren't transformational pieces. That's the point I make. They're not transformational pieces because all
You
things
think?
being all things being equal, we could set up next season with Rice, Marino, and Odegaard, and then the other players that come in are rotational pieces.
Listen,
So
if I had my way, you test AC Milan and put the money on the table for Reinders. That's what you do.
okay, but
You
again,
go get your left center mid, go get your striker, go get your winger.
Isn't transformational. Reinders is a nice to have rotational piece. Like as much as I love him as a player,
Nice to have rotational piece.
of course.
But let's finish actual talk about the game before we get
No. This is the transfer market section. I'm letting you guys go crazy.
Yeah, because I think Reinders is great in the sense that he can help with our creativity. He can also fill in a little bit deeper as well. But we're talking about what Arsenal need right now. Arsenal are trying to win the Premier League right now. We're going to try to win it next season as well, kind of thing. It's not going to hinge on us getting a couple more rotational pieces in midfield. It's going to hinge on us, finding the actual nukes to kill teams, to kill an Everton, to kill this team.
I don't know.
See,
I
disagree.
think it's a little overplayed. Because keep in mind, Arsenal lost the league title by 2 points last season with a weaker squad than they currently have.
With a weaker squad.
So really, it's less about what we do in the market personally, and more about the margin just going in our favor. Which they really haven't done this season.
I've been saying that, but it's the same sort of thing. Whereas like Liverpool being in this title race, genuinely, it's all down to one man. Yeah, the defense looks a bit better than last season, but quite literally, it's down to Mo Salah kind of thing. And I feel like the margins go more in your favor when you have players who can force those margins more often. That's all I'm saying. Like, yeah, of course, get Reinders in, get Crowther in, or whatever else. But Isak right now, to me, he is the most obvious signing that we can make to make us noticeably better from day zero. Like, to me, it's a no-brainer.
Sure. Well said. I let that go on for as long as it did because not much happened after we scored that third goal in the second half. Brentford huffed and puffed and they didn't even blow.
We only had those two other chances that I came close to scoring, and that's it.
Right. There was Raya released Martinelli after a Brentford attack. It was a throw-in, actually. Was it a throw or a kick? I feel like it was a long throw. It was a throw. Yeah, he threw it through the middle of the field. Flecken came out, did some good sweeper keeping. Good for them. Then there was another counter opportunity where Gabriel Martinelli set up Gabriel Jesus, but before he could get his toe poke in, the defender cleared it, and the referee awarded Brentford a goal kick because that's just what English referees do. This was the same referee that later in the game also awarded a foul against Gabby Jesus and accused him of pulling his opponent's shirt when Gabby Jesus' shirt was literally ripped off his body. In the first half, that slapped him in the mouth and he was bleeding everywhere. Like, Jesus was really suffering. Like, it was mad. Mad Roman at that bitch today at G-Tech today, man. Mad Roman.
Oh my days. I can't lie. If anybody follows me on Twitter, you see the tweet that I tweeted about Jesus and his shirt being pulled, because if we still had that Puma manufacturer, nipples would be out.
It would have been a sex show. It would have been OnlyFans at the G-Tech. Ew, nasty. The new year? Nah. God forbid. I have no particular interest in really revisiting the nitty-gritty details of the rest of the game. Clearly, the substitutions I feel like people stayed on for quite a while longer than they probably should have, but it was really about trying to build people's fitness, trying to give some other people who have played a lot of minutes in recent times, like people like Trossard, Rice, a break. Miles Lewis-Skelly, who I thought probably could have started this game, because I feel like the way I remember people coming back from injury was that they get 10 to 15 minutes, a late sub, then they get 30 minutes, then you get an hour as a starter, then you get the 90. But clearly Calafiori must have been doing something different, or the manager just wanted to accelerate things. I don't know what happened. I'm not mad at it. I think we managed the game pretty well. The intensity clearly dropped. A lot of resting on the ball, killed them with 300 passes type energy. So I don't know that we want to revisit much else of what happened. I hope I did a decent enough job of summing up the last 35 minutes of that game, because there really wasn't a threat. Do you remember any moments where Brentford maybe?
No, and that's the pleasing thing. I would genuinely love for us to score like 5 away from home every game, but sometimes at this stage of the season, it's about getting the results and just getting home unharmed. And yeah, I'm very pleased with the fact that we managed to get. I think what's his name? Ranieri came off. Odegaard came off as well, didn't he? Jorginho got on the end as well. Getting players that are on the bench warm and getting their minutes kind of thing is probably where the league will be won and lost, I think. Genuinely, forget about Liverpool's form or whatever else. The more you can keep your best players, fit and just, on a good rolling rotation of fitness kind of thing, by underpinning them with players that are adequate enough to come in and take, good minutes off them, yeah, that's where you'll find the rhythm. So for us, let's just keep doing what we're doing in that regard. I know Rice wasn't particularly fit, but yeah, like he didn't start against both Palace games. He didn't start. In fact, I remember. But look how great he looked in the second Palace game when he did come on. And I think it's just about that. Declan Rice is going to be absolutely paramount to this second half of the season, like for sure. So let's get him as protected as we can as possible, and Odegaard the same kind of thing. Havertz as well,
Yeah, well said. Gabby, go on.
Oh, the only thing I was thinking about is I like the rotation. I've been asking Mikel to actually utilize his squad for a long time.
Yeah.
Stop overpaying your players, so I can't complain about him rotating. And also we're pulling out results. Yeah. I mean, it's not always pretty. Not every game is going to be, but as long as you're picking up 3 points, I don't care.
Very well said. Yeah, 8 more games this month. So 9 games in total for Arsenal in 1 month. So basically,
1 down, 8 to go, man.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild, So there's going to be a lot of rotation, and honestly, I can have no complaints about today's performance, and definitely not about the result.
The only thing I can complain about, Timber, you just had to get that yellow card, huh? Like, God.
Well, it was either that or Mikel was going to use him to death. We all know how Mikel likes to use the players he likes, and there are not a lot of right backs around, which reminds me, Gabby, this should make you happy. 5 is probably playing right back, isn't he?
Yeah.
Against Brighton.
I think we're going to talk about Tommy Austin.
Against Matoma.
Oh, no. That's my boy. I'm just waiting for Tommy to come back. I know he's over in Japan recuperating from his knee situation.
I can't lie. I privately have been really worried about Tommy. I think it's a mental thing, like something is going on, and I'm glad that he made that post. That's all I'm gonna say.
He just got to watch Godzilla -1 like 5 times.
Generally, that's one of the greatest films of all time. So it's
all time, nigga.
It's one of the greatest. Like,
fantastic movie.
I was in the theater weeping. Like
literally the last time I cried in the cinema before that was Transformers 2. Seriously.
You just have to fucking ruin it. I hate you.
I'm serious. Look, I thought Optimus died, bro. So like,
sick.
Optimus isn't real. Godzilla is, nigga. Fuck, it's a lizard. Over there talking about a fucking talking Tesla Cybertruck and shit. Niggas, fuck out of here. Transformers 2.
About another lizard. We're gonna see 5 at right back for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm not looking forward to that, but it will work out. Brighton are not in the best of form at the moment either. They've drawn.
Is that home or away?
Away
at the MX. Ooh.
It's not a long trip. It's not a long trip, and I'm not scared of no fucking credit card company. In any event, people, thanks for joining us for the first Arsenal edition of 2025. We hope all is well with you and your families, and we hope that this year is your best yet. For Gabby and Coach, this has been Deen, and you know what? Tell the people.
Peace.
Hey folks, this is Deen from the Shirtless Plantain Show. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and follow us on all our socials. You can see them right beneath our recordings in every video. Thanks again, and see you on the next one.